What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we are talking about state of the market and stock picks for April 14th, 2022. So let's get right into tomorrow's state of the market. Again, the market will be closed on Friday. So tomorrow is essentially our Friday. There probably more than likely will not be very much volume. Now, technically speaking, I mean, you can go over. Today there was some more data that came out, but again, ultimately, inflation data that came out. You can call it what it is. Nobody really cares about inflation numbers. People know it's high at this point. We are past that point. At this point, we are in the point of taking action, and so we are more so waiting on the Fed and what they do, and to define that even further, we are more waiting on bond buying. And even that is getting to the point where the market just doesn't care anymore. We had the initial rate raise. That ship has essentially sailed. Now, unless the Fed changes their tone and they continue to perhaps, for whatever case, decide to continue bond buying, decide to not raise rates because of the war or some other catalyst that could appear out of anywhere, that will change the market. But aside from that, nothing is really going to change unless the war escalates even further than what it already is. Unless China enters in, nothing has changed. There was no new news. We got the news about the New York incident yesterday. That's been things have been kind of clarified as far as what's going on there. So the market bounced back. It's exactly where I thought it would be yesterday. I actually think we would have broke back over and actually broke out of this channel yesterday had it not been for that incident in New York. Being said, we are right back at that spot. We are right here for earnings. JPM had earnings this morning. They didn't do so hot overall. They lost a big chunk of the revenue. But also saying that the market at this point is, I think, had enough. The market at this point is ready to push. There is no new news. We've had a lot of really bad news over the past 3 months. The market is ready to push up. Again, it's designed to do that, and it will do just that until May. Now, if you want to blame it on the Fed, whatever, everybody knows what's going to happen in May. There's going to be a double rate raise, and the bond purchasing will continue until the war stops. If the war stops beforehand, then the bond purchasing will stop, I think, shortly after. Again, but there doesn't look like there's any end to that battle here anytime soon. So being said, it is earnings mode. We are doing banks this week. One of the biggest ones to actually watch is TSM in the morning, Semiconductors. If they do very good, that is going to gauge what's going to happen with the market tomorrow. Again, you have big tech that has essentially been driving this market, and it's all based off of chips. So if the semiconductors do poorly, that could see some really nasty earnings coming up. So we're kind of going to get a taste of that in the morning. If they do well, you could see a big boost or a big fall in chips tomorrow, which could lead the market ultimately, I think, along with some continued other bank earnings as well. So from this point, we are looking good, but what we really want is to get above this 44.75. It really matters that we break above this if we can. I think the next thing we're looking at, our next stop, will be all-time highs. Now, can we hit that all-time high before May is the question. So I think we will start heading that way. I think it will be pretty choppy on the way up, but if we can get some good earnings to back it, I think all-time highs is something we can really quickly achieve. But also keep in mind that you're going to have the Fed, and when the Fed does come, and if they do a double rate raise, whatever the case is, understand that the market will sell off from that point. It's normal after big tech for the market to sell, and then once after it's corrected. Normally, typically after earnings, you give it about 4 weeks after earnings to kind of get some selling. You got about a 3 to 4 week window there where it will sell, and then it will turn around and base and start pushing back up, getting ready for the next earnings. That's typically how the cycle goes. Now, again, if there's anything else that occurs during that time, obviously it can manipulate the market a lot more and bring volatility. So just be mindful of that. And then again, if the war just stopped too, that'd be a huge catalyst for the market to start really pushing. Because if you remember coming into this year, every time we made all-time highs, we would hold all-time highs for a matter of hours before we started selling off. But I think if the war stopped at that point, I think we would actually hold all-time highs for a while and continue to push very smoothly from that point. And then I think it would start alleviating some of the inflation. Obviously, it's not just going to go away overnight, but I think that would start alleviating that case. So we are in a good spot so far as the market is. Again, we need to break over that level to be sure. So looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is starting to push up too. Again, a key level for Bitcoin to really watch here is that 43K mark. We really need to break back over that. If we can't break back over that, it's going to be an issue. Or we can continue to play this range. We could hit it and reject it. Normally we will reject it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get up to that 43K mark and get rejected tomorrow. But it's ultimately if we can break back through, or we're going to head back down to the zone, essentially that 38K mark, and hold there for another rip back up. More consolidation, it looks like it's a strong possibility. Again, I really think this is the year. I know I keep reiterating that, but crypto, I think, has got a place to stay, in my opinion. So as always, Tesla is always a big one I always talk about because it leads the pack. It actually had a nice bounce today. So tomorrow I'm really watching essentially that 1K mark tomorrow. As soon as if we can retest that tomorrow, I'm actually possibly looking at swinging this going into earnings. I think is a strong play. I did have some contracts the other day on this sell-off that I didn't hold, but I think again, if that daily can open up above that, I'll be looking for swinging Tesla into the end of April. I think again the market will be pretty clear from that point forward. Now something else I want to watch, UPST. They had some news today. Motley Fool, I think, placed them as a number one pick. So we might get actually gap up on this. I did swing some small contracts on this overnight to try to capture that move before I actually got the news. I just like the way the market was pushing in general towards the end of the day, and so grabbed some essentially some cheap contracts to swing in case the market does gap up tomorrow. So watching that tomorrow, again, I think you get that a hard resistance at 100. I think you get rejected pretty hard there. If not, if it starts actually turning and starts gaining momentum back up, definitely, again, UPST is one I want to watch. I think earnings will do very well, so I want to keep that one on watch. Google, as always, same case. You're really going to have to watch out for this 2662 mark. Again, we haven't tagged it yet. As soon as we get that gap, as soon as we get up to the 2640 and do that gap fill to the 2664, you're going to get a hard rejection off that first initial retest. And then after that, if we can break back over that, if we can snag it on the break, that would be great, because I think you'll go back to all-time highs on this as well. I think, again, the market as a whole will turn pretty quickly once we get a little bit better news. Hopefully we get some good earnings coming up here. And then, like I said, TSM Semiconductors, this is one of the biggest ones I'm watching tomorrow, again, because they will essentially lead the pack for chips. If they do poorly, this could be really bad, or it could be really good. So kind of looking for that 103.50 break tomorrow. If we can break above this tomorrow in the morning pre-markets and hold above that, I think this thing can really run. So this is one I want to keep on watch. Again, this is the leader. You're going to see a sympathy play in all the chips. So your AMD, your NVIDIAs, they're going to start ripping very quickly. And something that I like to do is there's a ratio with LRCX and ASML. If AMD and NVIDIA start really ripping and you miss them, you can look at LRCX and ASML. They typically lag behind. You get a brief, maybe 10 minutes or so before they start taking off. So once you start seeing if TSM starts really ripping tomorrow and you miss it, again, you can always go on the sympathy plays and grab AMD or NVIDIA as well. If it does start gapping pre-market, you got to realize that AMD and NVIDIA will more likely do the same thing. There's a lot of different laggers on the chip space you can play. So just watch for those. Again, ASML, LRCX are really good ones that I like if I do miss the main ones on that one. So that's a big watch tomorrow. As far as anything else, I think that's pretty much it. I want to kind of keep it short and sweet tomorrow because of that fact. I think chips are going to be the biggest play. Tesla, Google, UPST, possibly Shop, Amazon. Amazon even looks like a good play going into tomorrow. Again, if we pop and then start dropping, I think this could be actually a really good short. If we get rejected tomorrow, Amazon here at the 31.42 mark. It's actually a first retest. So normally you're going to get a heavy rejection off of this, especially off a daily support like this. You can get a pretty nice rejection off this. So there's something I am watching. We are hitting off the 20 on the monthly. This could actually get rejected pretty hard overnight. So really want to see if it does hold that 31.06 mark tomorrow. If it closes below that, we could sell off pretty heavy. Again, I don't really see us selling. I think we're starting to get in earnings mode. I think this might pop back over everything. Just be mindful, even if we do start getting momentum to the upside, you're still going to get a hard rejection off that. So just be aware of that, manage risk for that. But again, I'd more than likely wait for this to break back over at least the 31.60 mark to really start getting any bullish. And then you still have some more resistance again. You have the 200 EMA on the daily. You got to watch out for floating around that 32.27 roughly. And then you got some other resistance points. So those are the ones I pretty much got for tomorrow. Again, it's our Friday. Again, the market's not open on Friday. So again, it really depends on volume. If we'll push, we might just get a morning push and then we might just die off the rest of the day. Strong possibility. So we may gap and then crap for the rest of the day. So nonetheless, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a like button. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.